Good day, everybody. Today we talk about plagiarism. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism is an act or instance of using or closely imitating the language and thoughts of another author without authorization and representation of the author's work as one's own. It can also be defined as when you pass off other people's text as your own. If these definitions seem complicated, let us ask this basic question. You are writing an assignment, then you go through a number of literature writings. You read them and you get ideas from them. But before you read all those literature writings, you didn't know about the concept that you are writing about. Now that you've read them, you are going to write now. Then those ideas that you read, you take them and put them in your work, and you don't reference and serve to say you took it from the following literature writings. That then is plagiarism. Why? Because you've taken ideas which are not yours, ideas which you did not know of before you read those things, and you put them and made them represent as if they are yours. Hence, plagiarism is academic theft. It is utilization of someone's idea as if it is yours, as if it is one's brainchild. We have different types of plagiarism. First, we have outright copying. As the name suggests, here one copies entirely. One is basically a human moving photocopying machine. You're taking an idea from one book and putting it to submit it as your own work, as if it is your brainchild. It is using the same words as the original text without acknowledging the source or without using quotation marks. In other words, the student copies someone else's work and puts his or her name to it. Simply, a student submits as his or her own work an essay that has been written by someone else. This is where I got definitions of plagiarism, so that I also won't be nabbed for plagiarism. Here comes our student who plagiarized. Photocopying machine. Our second type of plagiarism is patchwork plagiarism. Patchwork means one knits together different ideas taken from different sources and make them seem as if they belong to him or her. What am I saying? I read this article and I read this book, and then I take an idea from this part and this part, then I combine them, I put them and submit them as my own work. We call that patchwork plagiarism. Why patchwork plagiarism? I took work from different sources, knitted them together, but did not acknowledge where I took those things from. Here a student will lift ideas, phrases, sentences, and paragraphs from a variety of sources and stitch them together into an essay. As you can see there, we have different patches to denote patchwork plagiarism. Our third type becomes paraphrase plagiarism. Here one paraphrases what they read from someone else's work and then represent it as if it belongs to them. It is committed when a writer summarizes an idea taken from another source and fails both to cite the author and to provide corresponding reference. Paraphrasing and summarizing are very similar. Both involve taking ideas, words, or phrases from a source and crafting them into new sentences within your writing. In addition, summarizing includes condensing the source material into just a few lines. Whether paraphrasing or summarizing, credit is always given to the author, or else one will be charged with plagiarism. Our number 3 is stealing an apt term plagiarism. Here a student will take an idea which is somewhat a perfect or a suitable idea into their writing. They incorporate it into their writing and make it seem as if it is theirs. Hence the word apt term. They take a term or a phrase which will best help make meaning of their writing. Happens when a short phrase from the original text has been used in the student's work, possibly because it is so good. That was our last type of plagiarism. Why should you not plagiarize? Plagiarism can result in your work being destroyed. Plagiarism is a crime. It is termed academic theft. Plagiarism is theft of intellectual property. Plagiarism is cheating. The university has zero tolerance policy on plagiarism. There is protocol where one plagiarizes, you ultimately one faces charges of theft of intellectual property, ideas belonging to other people. As you can see there, one can face a lawsuit. This one flows consequently and naturally from a plagiarized work. Your degree, you fail your degree, you are banned from the institution, and the worst fear is imprisonment. One can be imprisoned for plagiarism. How to avoid plagiarism? Time management. Usually students plagiarize because they do their work on the 11th hour. They don't have time to go through their work. They just take articles, copy them outrightly, so patch ideas from different works, paraphrase from different works. But had one had enough time or done their work on time, plagiarism is avoidable. One has to do thorough research before one does their work to avoid plagiarism. And you should write on your own, write on your writing pad, write on your book separately, so that you write. Ultimately, it is your voice that we want to hear in your piece of writing. So if you don't write down, you run the risks of taking things as they are. Footnoting, yes, it goes without saying. One should footnote to avoid plagiarism. Footnote will tell us that this idea, you took it from a certain source, and hence you can't be charged with plagiarism because you did acknowledge where you got the idea from. Editing. Make sure that after you're done with your work, edit. Make sure that your work, you correctly referenced, you correctly footnoted. The reference on your footnotes, make sure that it is really correct in the sense that what you footnoted is exactly that person's idea, or you took it exactly from that. This is our lesson for today. Thank you.